Good evening, everyone. I'm Frank Novak, and this is Point of Reference. Tonight we talk about a community's recipe for success. The ingredients: take a possible dream that you thought would be great for the community, share that dream with a group of conscientious citizens, stir both items in a pot provided by Team Haverhill, let simmer, and the result very well may be a possible dream that has turned into a wonderful reality. And just how possible is that, you ask? Well, the fact is that it's been happening in Haverhill year after year after year with great success that makes this process the envy of many New England cities and towns. Here's the best part. You now have a chance to participate by bringing your possible dream to the surface on Monday, January 26th at 7 p.m. at Northern Essex Community College's Tech Center. And here to tell us all about it and the wonderful results this process has yielded is Team Haverhill member Jeff Grassi. Welcome to the program, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, this is a wonderful idea that's, I understand, just before we were starting the program, you told me this is actually a 10th anniversary for Team Haverhill.
It is. This is a very big year for us.
You know, the cumulative effect on this, I know when I was talking to some other Team Haverhill members about the possible dream date, is the fact that, you know, there are so many things that Team Haverhill has been involved in privately, you know, without city funding, without taxpayer money, without any of that stuff. It's just people, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember going to the first Possible Dreams 10 years ago, and that is when people have an idea. They may think, you know what, can I do this on my own? Maybe not. But the fact is, if you bring that idea to this event at Possible Dreams, and you go ahead and you tell somebody about it, they write it down, they put it up on a board, and then you get a consensus and you get like a groundswell of support, and they put these things together, and actually that's why they call it Possible Dreams. Your idea could be as big as a lot of the accomplishments that have happened in history, right, over the past 10 years.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things that have gone on, and right, a lot of people may not know it's just Team Haverhill, and a lot of times it's other groups as well, and we've worked as a team doing it. But you do have a lot of things. Like now we have the River Ruckus, we got the Haverhill Farmers Market, the murals, and all this. Just a lot of these great, and then also sometimes some smaller things too.
You know, a lot of people would not automatically think. They'll say, "Oh, the River Ruckus. Oh, is that from Team Haverhill? Did that come from from a Possible Dreams?" Apparently, it did. So, and that was an idea that came from one individual, no?
Yeah, it's a lot of the ideas the same thing. Someone just stands up, says, "Wouldn't this be a great idea?" Other people at the clap, stamp, said, "Yeah, we think that'd be a good idea." And then little by little, we take those, and at our next meeting, which will be in February, we kind of add them all up and see what has the most interest, and we kind of go from there. Who has the most energy behind it?
You know, Jeff, what we decided to do is to see if we could get a number of visuals to sort of give people a little bit of an idea as to what the process may be. But before we start that, and I'm just giving the control room a little bit of a heads up on that so they could get ready with some of the first pictures. The thing I want you to explain to us too is that one of the things that's going to be a little bit different, because a lot of people that have attended Possible Dreams in past years, they may figure, well, they've gone, they've made their contribution, they like it, and maybe sometimes they come again, and maybe they say, well, I've already been there. But this is going to be a little bit of a different process, but within the same venue with the same intent, is it not? Can you give us a little handle on that?
It is. So normally what we do is we usually have 2 or 3 rounds, what's called cafe rounds, when you have these small tables of 4, sometimes 5 people, but usually around 4. And you come up with ideas for about a half hour. Well, sometimes not even a half hour. You just go from different table for different rounds when Alice kind of gives the signal. Right. This time we're just going to have 1 cafe round, and then from there, and usually the cafe round's what it is. You have to talk about what do you like about Haverhill, what do you envision for Haverhill. You just get all these ideas starting to brew. And then you would discuss it, and then you'd go to another table. This year, we're just going to do 1 cafe round table, and then we already have a lot of ideas that groups and organizations have already submitted to us, and then we'll use some of those, and then we're going to have ideas from that evening too. And then during that, we're going to say, all right, we're going to separate in a bunch of different categories around the room, and we'll put up what that is on the wall. If you're interested in that certain topic, then you go over and stand over there and they'll discuss it. So you'll have all these people going in different directions for what they're passionate about. And from there, you'll have all these discussions, and then probably about a half hour, 40 minutes on that. And then we'll discuss that after. So it's going to be really exciting to hear some of the topics.
That's a great way to channel the energy, because it doesn't prioritize necessarily one idea over another. it just channels the energy of those people that have an interest in that idea to bring their expertise, their ideas, because it's based upon the different talents that people can bring, to the idea that's there, that maybe, they have some familiarity with that particular idea, so they'd like to go do that. And let's go over maybe just some of the ideas, and I was just writing them down just as the program was about to start, and I remember earlier on, 10 years ago, and let's say, Team Haverhill for, being, as, with its success, this speaks very, very well of its success and of possible dreams as well when you take into account. Some of these items may have occurred from possible dream meetings, and others may have had happened before that with Team Haverhill coming up with different ideas. But I remember historical signs that people may still see around Haverhill that are on buildings, saying that they were erected, and maybe in 1820 or something of that type, or the building may be of historical significance. That was done around the city. Then they had tree lights. They lit a lot of trees during the holiday season in Columbia Park down in downtown Haverhill, right by where the railroad station is. Then they did the murals down along the alleyways leading down into the back areas, leading to the walkways along the river. And we had the large mural, which may not have been an offshoot of the possible dreams, but still there's that kind of relation because you're part of the same family as well. Farmers Market was a big thing too, because Farmers Market was there, but there was it lacked originally a certain type of organizational thing that the possible dreams ideas brought forth. And that is a force. I'm going to tell you, it is a wonderful thing when I've been down there. And it's, I'll tell you, they rival any major, market chain with all of the things that they happen to have down there. And it's kind of makes you feel good since it's all, local, from local people that are down there too.
It is, and actually that's where a lot of ideas even come from. It's kind of a social gathering there. So you get a lot of people that talk there from all different, the mayor goes there a lot, the city councils go there, a lot of residents and people. So it's really, that's kind of a nice congregation place too. So you get a bunch of ideas there.
We take into account also from Farmers Market, we've got the River Ruckus, which has been an annual event that many people go ahead and look forward to. And they've coupled that, I know, at the Haverhill Rotary Club's annual duck regatta, where they drop. This is an example of the partnerships you're talking about.
Right, which we really focus on.
10,000 ducks off the bridge, and with the winner of the duck receiving, I guess, a $10,000 grand prize, and then they have all kinds of other second, third, and fourth prizes, which are very, very valuable.
It's very exciting, actually, for people. They really look forward to it.
You've got a lot of food down there. You've got a lot of music going on, and it's
boat rides.
There's with the vendors all the way around, the boat rides too. And then you've got, besides the River Ruckus, it's my favorite during the course of the River Ruckus, it's the car show that's up on Merrimack Street. And I like that because we do the car show there with HCTV.
That's a huge draw, the car show.
And it's we have a lot of fun with that, in being able to talk with people in their cars and, with some of the folks going by. But then other things that people may not realize, and they've seen it in the paper, because the paper will report on it and it'll be fine. The other things that you've done that emanated from possible dreams is the rail trail. The rail trail is a wonderful thing, and we're going to be showing some pictures of that too. And also, probably the landmark type of thing that emanated from possible dreams, would that be the recycling, single stream recycling down at the, because it not only saves the city of Haverhill a tremendous amount of money by not having to throw all that stuff away. It can be recycled, but it's also a wonderful thing because environmentally it's the friendliest thing you can do.
It is, and that was a huge challenge to get that through. It took about 2 years from some of the members that were with us, and they just worked so hard on that and had a lot of obstacles, but they overcame them all, and then sure enough, we got single stream recycling out of it.
That's an example of how somebody, when you say people will work hard on that, if it were one individual that was charged with that total responsibility, it may not have gotten off the ground.
Yeah, it takes a lot of people.
But with the strength of those people that all come together with Team Haverhill and from Possible Dreams, being from Team Haverhill, it made it work. We're going to take a look at the first picture right now that I'd like to go ahead and have in the stream, and it's going to be coming up on the screen momentarily. Control room tells me about it, and we can see this. Now this is when people happen to be at the tech center at Northern Essex Community College, and they've got like these tablecloths, and if your mom ever told you, don't write on the tablecloth, don't spill anything on the tablecloth.
She wouldn't like this now.
This is not your mom's tablecloth. It's large pieces of paper on top of the table, and what you do is each of you are given these pens, large pens, and you're supposed to write down your idea. You write down your idea on this table. Paper tablecloth. No?
Yeah, and a lot of people, if they don't know you or anything like that, new to Possible Dreams, they might not want to verbally say it.
Right.
So grab a pen and just write it down.
Write it down,
it seems to be very effective.
And then the next shot that we're going to have is when these items are now categorized and put on different easels. And Alice Mann, is she a co-chairman of Team Haverhill?
She's the president of Team
She's
Haverhill.
the president of Team
Yes.
Haverhill. Very good. And here's Alice Mann, and she's categorizing these items, and she's putting down. Now she's marking down at the front of the hall all of the items that people happen to bring up that you saw on the paper tablecloths that were written down, so that now there's a record of them and they can put them on there. And this is the sort of thing you were talking about. If they're going to divide them into different categories, then people will go ahead and go into those separate different categories.
Yeah, so that's going to be the great twist with this year. Instead of just having it on the board up there, you're going to go right to that specific topic and talk about it for quite a while.
So anybody that's been to a Team Haverhill Possible Dreams affair before, there'll be some familiarity there, which will be good, but there'll be a new twist to it, which I think they'll probably enjoy quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be really great.
Let's take a look at the next slide too, so that we can see what that happens to go ahead and show. And this is one that takes into account. Yeah, you never know who you're going to meet there either.
That's right.
And this is the mayor of the city of Haverhill, Jim Fiorentini, who's talking with some of the residents there that are sitting down and they're writing down what their thoughts happen to be. And I guess at the table right behind him is City Councilor Bill Masick. And the very interesting thing about this is, correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much influence you may have, whether you happen to be an elected official or not, everybody's idea is equal. Nobody has a louder voice than anybody else. And it's almost like going into a voting booth where that's the great equalizer. And that's the same thing that happens at the Possible Dreams, where nobody gets to put their item first or next, or there's no sort of pecking order.
Right.
Everybody is equal. If you've got an idea, you put that down. And that's no better, no worse than somebody else that's putting an idea down that they'd like to submit for consideration. Sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't.
Right.
So next thing we've got is here is an example of the auditorium at Northern Essex Community College, the Tech Center, and this shows you, this just is one angle that we took a shot of to show you the number of people that happened to show up. And it's great camaraderie, isn't it? It's like a coffee. I bet people would love that they could do that every week. Just go on down to the coffee shop at Northern Essex Community College.
You see a lot of friends there, and you see a lot of even new people. There's usually 20 or so new people every year that go there. So it's always new ideas there, which is really, we don't want to hear the same things every year. We want new ideas to come. And so that just shows you that everyone is in there, everyone is very engaged, and the ideas that come out of there, we can't do all of them, but we get a good amount.
Can you give us an idea? You say there's some ideas that have been submitted already in advance, or if I don't know if they may have been, forgive the term, recycled from previous years that may be coming up on different categories. But can you share with us any of those possible dreams that people will be seeing as they walk into that tech center?
The ones for this year, possible. Some of the ones is going to be some. We can't share too many, but
just a little sampling.
Yeah, a little sampling is pretty much for the dog waste, say at Winkinney. That's going to be kind of the ones that come up there. Someone has mentioned a possible trolley downtown. Just ideas, just to see how it goes and stuff. Always for space in Haverhill too. Open space is always a big one for people.
Right.
But there's going to be many others that have already been submitted, but there's going to be so many more that night.
See, now that's a good idea, because that gives people an idea. We've told them what some of the accomplishments are that came from Team Haverhill Possible Dreams, and these are some of the things that are maybe going to be on the table and going to be discussed and maybe they'll work, and maybe they'll move forward, maybe they won't.
And maybe they won't.
Because
it happens every year.
There may be a better idea that some people rally around that doesn't mean that if their idea that they'd like to talk about, they'd like to bring forth, is not acted upon, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's been dismissed. It simply may be it's made the list for consideration. It may be something that they can't do that
Right then.
from that standpoint.
Or
immediately.
even if Team Haverhill doesn't take it on from there,
Yeah.
all these great nonprofits out of there, business owners, somebody else might take it up on it. And so that's the nice thing about it. We have so many people there from everybody. We have state senators there, we have the
Yeah.
counselors and all that, and business owners, the banks. But everyone combined, where the energy is, that's what we'll try to go for. But if, right, like you said, if it's not there, somebody else might pick it up.
Yeah.
The YMCA last year was a great example. Tracy Fuller last year said, well, why don't we have a volunteer fair? So
That's
everyone
great.
thought that was a great idea. And so
We've got
sure
one of those
enough,
pictures of what we happen to
Oh,
have
terrific.
too. And the thing is, in fact, they tell me that primary example of one of your biggest successes has been the farmers market. That's going to be the next slide that's coming up right now, so
Oh,
everybody
good. I
can
like
go ahead
talking
and
about
see
that
that.
one.
Yeah. Now look at that. Boy, I want that bag of corn right in front, right there. Just let's do it right now. But that's. And you know what? In the past, it used to be just maybe a stand of like 1 or 2 people.
There was 1 or 2
This is a
people.
big deal now.
now,
down there.
yeah, we have up to 25 vendors now. We have live music usually every weekend, food
Wow.
demonstrations, and
And that's wonderful when you take into account the number of people, and the location of that is at the end, Ginty Boulevard and Main Street 125.
yeah, no, actually, it's right now located right in the police station
Oh, I'm
parking
sorry,
lot,
I'm
right,
sorry.
right
It
over
used to
there.
be at
It
that.
used to be over there,
Used
but
to
now
be there, and that's
Yeah.
right. It's right by you're absolutely correct.
Right
I
in the
stand
parking lot.
corrected. Right by the parking lot between the police station and PMA,
Correct.
Pawtucket Medical Center.
Yeah.
I remember because I was able to park my car very
Oh,
conveniently
it's a
there.
great location. We
And it was
really,
the first time. I mean,
very fortunate.
I've got a 14-pound little Bichon dog, and I says, "Let's go over there and get some corn." He came with me, and on top of that, I didn't realize that there was a vendor there that was selling dog treats too.
Twins
so.
Canine Cafe,
There
very
you go.
popular with the pets.
So,
yes.
so I mean, where else can you go ahead and take your pet to go shopping in a produce department?
The
It's
dogs love
unheard of.
going.
Yeah, they certainly do.
Yes, they do. They look forward to the treat.
These things, when you take all of these things into account, are there ever any things that, let's say, lose momentum that you have to prop up or change a dynamic in
Yeah,
them?
I think with certain projects, I don't know in specific ones, but yeah, sometimes it has some steam coming out of possible dreams, and then maybe when it comes to the meetings and all that, we need a lot of volunteers to get behind it. And if it doesn't, then we'll be like, okay, maybe it's just not the right time for this. Let's put it on the shelf,
Yeah.
and maybe we can bring it back later when there's more interest. So we really just focus on a couple a year that really have the drive behind it, and partnerships. That's very important.
I remember that there was, River Ruckus was something that they wanted to go ahead and put forth, and they did initially, and then there was 1 year that they passed on it to go ahead and sort of give it a, scrutinize and sort of the devil's in the details, and they went after that at a certain time because they've changed some dates over, and now they find that the dates that they're going to be utilizing is probably more conducive to what to be even to make what is successful an even greater success, so
Yeah.
it doesn't impinge or overlap or can be confused with any other affairs or things that are going on necessarily in other contiguous communities or communities not too far away.
Right, so that's why it's going to be later in September of this year. So right, it doesn't compete with a couple other things that go around in different locations.
Yeah, because there was, I remember not too many years ago, they had this special thing that it was over the course of an entire weekend. They'd have a type of rally, New England rally for everybody that was along the Merrimack River,
yeah.
and that took There's no way that you could go ahead and hit all of the cities and towns
Now you have
that
to
are
pick
along that river.
pick
So
one.
you had to use the whole weekend in order to do it, which was quite a task. It was the creative economy that was putting that
Oh,
forth, and
okay.
that was nice. But it kind of gave a lot of people in different communities the impetus to try to, hey, maybe we could do this on an annual basis ourselves, even if we're not in conjunction with
Right.
somebody else. And that maybe was part of the mindset of what they did
Yeah, it might have been.
with Team Haverhill and Possible Dreams. This must be very, very gratifying, and you've probably been recognized by many local elected officials and regional elected officials as well, as far as, I'm going to say, Representative Dempsey and Senator Ives. I know Senator Ives, as a matter of fact, was in one of the shots.
Oh, yeah, she was.
That's at the group there, along with many city councils and such, because these are great ideas that people are not necessarily, elected officials are not necessarily looking to see, how are we going to juggle this to try to get funding to do this, because that's really not a non-issue, right?
Yeah, because we raise all our own money for those projects. For the rail trail, that's I think would be with some state and city as well. But
Yep.
all the other ones, the mural included, that was no city money. That was all just fundraising, auctions, and all that. So that was all of our projects really are.
And the end
All raised.
result ultimately is making the community a better and a nicer place to live.
It is, and we're mixing up a little this year too, and we're going to talk about it on Possible Dreams, is we've done a lot of big projects. This year, we're going to introduce it that night. We're going to do 10 for 10 projects.
What is that?
So what that is so it's our 10-year celebration. So we're going to do 10 projects this year through the city. We've already sent out a lot of submissions, applications, and the criteria is the projects have to be done in less than 1 day, half day or so. It has to be $150 or less in a budget that we'll raise, but if you want to raise more,
Yep.
that's great. And what it's going to be is just small projects from all different groups, organizations that they need done. It could be Wayne Kinney Park.
Yep.
It could be just a whole bunch of different ideas that they come up with, as long as they will partner with us on it. So this is 10 for 10. It's all about partnerships.
Really?
They'll
Can
send
you-
an
so,
application,
okay,
and you
10
got to go
for-
halves with us.
10 for 10, we're coming up on time in just about 4 minutes, so we have a couple more pictures to do. But can you give us an example of like let's say one or two of those 10 for 10s? What would that be?
Well,
an
we don't
example?
have them yet, actually, so the
Okay.
applications are due on February 1st.
Okay.
So everyone's submitting them now, hoping to get a bunch more, and then we're going to pick 10 of them
Yep.
mid-February,
Oh.
and then we're going to get the results out.
Are these things that people can go ahead and suggest that Possible Dreams to? Are they going to be? It's going to be recommended that they bring
Well,
those
yeah,
forth
because we're going to
there?
have information that night as well, and even some applications.
That's really good. Let's take a look. They tell me we've got a couple more shots in the control room from pictures we submitted. Let's see what we have next up so we can talk about that. The rail trail.
Yes.
What a great shot and a great view of the bridge going over that's the Como Bridge going over into Bradford, if I'm not mistaken, with the nice turret there, and that's the trail along. And they are looking to go ahead, and the mayor's, when we had him on the program just recently, last week, was talking about how we'd like to extend that and have that go almost all the way down to Groveland.
Yeah, which will
You
be
know,
really
and that's a
something.
wonderful, wonderful thing. And that was something that Team Haverhill and Possible Dreams wanted to be able to be involved in as well.
Yeah, and
they
we've got
did.
quite a few partners in that. The
And
Bradford
there's-
Rail Trail Committee, that's a huge project, but our contribution, we're going to be working and try to get 5 sculptures
Right.
in there. So the submissions are already out for that, for really professional sculptures, large scale, that people will come to Haverhill to check out these sculptures, walk on the trail, and walk around the city.
That's great. It's like a destination location.
That's
you know,
exactly
just
the whole
even for
purpose of
that.
it.
So you're trying to have maybe, if I'm not mistaken, many of those types of things, so that people will come for one, then they will, if they can't do more than one, they'll come back for the other, and
Right.
again and again. And if they see something, they've experienced something they like, everybody always comes back.
That's
no?
right. Yeah.
Let's take a look at, I think it's the last picture that we happen to have, so that'll tell us something about what we're dealing with. Here's an example of the volunteer fair.
Yeah,
And if I'm
wonderful.
not mistaken, that's Denise Johnson.
Yes,
She's
it
a
is.
former aide to Congresswoman Nikki Songas,
Yes.
who is now working for the Haverhill School System in the Discovery Department,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken. And here she is at that volunteer fair you're talking about at the YMCA with Tracy Fuller as the executive director there.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a great, I used this shot. I didn't take this shot. I didn't take any of these pictures, but I'm thankful for those people that provided them for us. And this shows an example of a lot of young volunteers that wanted to sign up or find out or how they can get involved and do something. And that's terrific. You know, and anybody that's watching this might say, you know what I mean. Oh, those young kids, what are they doing? Well, here's an example of some
Yeah.
young kids. So that's, they're setting a fine example of this. And only good can come from good that's been established, no?
Yeah, and you always need more volunteers for things. And a lot of people move into say Haverhill or any town, they don't know who to go to if they want to donate their time. And sure enough, they'll find things like that, and they go to the fair and they can pick something they're interested in.
Right. So it's a volunteer fair.
It's a volunteer fair.
You know,
pick
so
your passion.
So people, even if they wanted to be involved in internships, that's volunteering to a certain degree, and they want to learn about something and want to help out in some particular thing. I wonder, many young people might want to be involved in something of that type as a benefit or as a project that many schools encourage you to provide or do some sort of community service, no?
No, that'd be perfect for that. And any volunteering, I think, is great. I mean, my wife and I, we started volunteering because of Possible Dreams. We were invited by somebody, said you should come to this. We lived in Haverhill for 5 years, never did anything much, and went to this thing. We're very inspired. and met a lot of people, and sure enough, we've been with them ever since.
You know, isn't that wonderful? You use the word, the magic word, in my opinion, and that is inspired.
Yeah, it's very
So
inspiring.
some people that may wonder about it, even if you're thinking about it, should I not? Is it worth it? You know, what will happen? You know,
Try
the fact
it.
is, relieve your curiosity and just
Do
go.
it. And if you don't like it, you can always walk away. For us, though, volunteering is extremely addictive. You can't get enough of it. And you know, we do a lot with so many other people who do a lot as well. And together, with all these groups in the city, you get a lot done.
You know what, I've got to tell you that that goes to the heart of exactly what we're doing here at HCTV 22, and the fact is that as a volunteer, being able to try to help bring this information forward, and while you can't see them, they're all behind the cameras right now, but I'd ask you at the end of the program to go ahead and read those credits, because these are people that are not on the payroll, but they're here to go ahead and exercise their talents and a passion and be able to bring you this message to sort of help you, help the community at the same time. Lastly, I'd like to just touch on this point, and the fact is that with what Haverhill has been able to accomplish through Team Haverhill and Possible Dreams, when being able to do that, that's got to be inspirational, and other communities, large and small, have to be looking over your shoulder to basically see, what are they doing? How do they do that?
Yeah, we hear that a lot, actually. Friends of mine, family members, when they come to Haverhill and they see all this stuff going on, and we tell them a lot of it's done by volunteers, and we work with other groups and they say, we have nothing like that in our town. We have such a small, very envious. So many people look at Haverhill, and many people don't know this, but they look at Haverhill and say, we have so many volunteer organizations, so many groups, so many people that work together to make the city what it is. My wife, we love Haverhill. I mean, we find there's just so much opportunity here, and you know, we're really at the tipping point, and it's amazing what's going to happen.
That's terrific, you know, and that should give everybody a lot of gratification. It's not only watching this program, but for what Team Haverhill and Possible Dreams has been able to accomplish, because it all comes right basically from the purity of thought of being able to try to do something good to benefit not yourself, but the entire community.
That's right, yeah.
You know, I'd like to go and say, just to reiterate a couple of things, and that is that please, if you folks happen to have an interest in this, or you're just curious, and maybe you have a dream and maybe you don't, but the fact is, if you just go to this event, which is on Monday, January 26th at Northern Essex Community College's Tech Center, it's a wonderful building, and if you just go just to see the building, that in and of itself is a pretty impressive event there. But to simply go to that Possible Dreams event sponsored by Team Haverhill, once again, January 26th, Monday at 7 p.m. at Northern Essex Community College Tech Center. And when you're there, you'll be able to see probably a lot of people that you know, and meet a lot of people that you did not know, and be able to have a proper exchange of ideas, and it might be invigorating and inspiring at the same time, no?
Yes, you will absolutely be inspired. And if you need more information or anything like that, you can just go to teamhaverhill.org. It gives you a description of the event, and then a lot of the projects that we've done and collaborations that we have.
That'll be terrific. You just that's teamhaverhill.org.
Yes.
And that's wonderful, so you can find out more information about that, because we could talk all night about this, but unfortunately,
yes,
we're on time. And that, having said that, Jeff Grassi, thank you very, very much for being here this evening and being able to share with us your information on Team Haverhill and Possible Dreams. And we look forward to seeing you on January 26th at 7 p.m. on Monday at Northern Essex Community College. Look forward to seeing you there.
Great.
Look forward to seeing you there, too. So that being the case, I'd like to say we thank you for being here, and we wish that this program has been a point of reference for you. And until next time, my name is Frank Novak. Thanks very much for watching.